Time now for a Sioux Falls real estate update with Brent Baker with Clients First Group and Keller Williams Realty. Good day, sir. How are you?
I'm well. Got both of my hairs combed in the right direction.
I don't know where you keep them. It's not on the top of the head. You know what? You pull that look off really well, by the way.
Thank you.
You and Mr. Clean, you guys both. You look good. Real good. So,
Mr. Clean should come to my house and help out a little more.
Well, I'm excited to chat with you today because here's the headline is why your asking price matters even more right now. And this is one of those things when somebody is going to sell their home and they've made the decision that it's time for me to downsize, or we have a new baby on the way and it's time for me to upsize, or maybe it's just, hey, I want to go to a different climate and I'm going to sell for that reason. Whatever the reason, when they're selling something, it's their home. It's very personal. It means a lot to them. It can be difficult to figure out what should I ask for this. And that is where it makes a lot of sense to have a real estate professional like Brent Baker that is with us right now, somebody come in and help, because that asking price matters a lot, doesn't it?
It really does. If people think back, and when you look at something online, and if it doesn't look like a good value, doesn't feel like a good value, are you even going to go any further?
No.
And I've had sellers over the years say, well, okay, I understand what you're saying for price. Now we need to pad it a little because they're going to offer me less. Well, the risk in that is that you scare them away from even entering your door.
Yeah.
And if they don't enter your door, you can kiss the offers goodbye.
Exactly.
And certainly, multiple offers.
Yeah.
So
you want to get them to at least come through the door and fall in love with it. We were talking a little bit about a home when I lived in Nebraska. It took 3 tries for our real estate professional there to finally get us to actually open the door and walk in. Because from the front yard, I was like, nah, not interested. So 2 times we just left, and the 3rd time he brought us back, and he's like, no, go inside and then decide. And then we fell in love with the house.
Well, curb appeal, first impressions really matter. And so if you have not maintained your home and you still think you're going to get a premium price, well, premium price demands premium product. So appearances matter in homes, but also the public is looking for a value.
Exactly.
Especially when we're in times of high inflation like we are.
Yeah.
They are looking for not necessarily a bargain, but value.
Exactly. So when you're setting a price, you don't want to set one that's too high, because that's a problem, right?
Correct. Unrealistic expectations will not get you to the next stage, whether that's to downsize, upsize, or just be rid of a home entirely. The buyers have expectations too.
But you don't want to set it too low either, do you?
No, you don't want to leave money on the table. There are the occasional properties that it's a little bit hard to judge. But the reality is there's usually enough properties around to do comparisons to that you can get a pretty good grasp of where a property should be priced.
And again, if you're working with a real estate professional, they have an idea of what other homes are selling for, what homes that are similar to yours are selling for. That makes a big difference too. There could be a house 2 doors down that sold for a whole lot more money, but if it's a completely different style of home and a different condition, that makes a big difference.
Correct. Just because it's on your street, and I've gotten those calls. Well, Joe down the street got 100,000 more. Well, Joe down the street had this type of house, this many square feet.
Yeah.
Realtors have access to information beyond what they're seeing on Zillow, Realtor.com, and those are third-party websites.
Yeah.
We have access, both to the public county information, but also some of the other details of the houses that have been for sale, are currently for sale. We have to compare apples to apples, oranges to oranges.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes you can overestimate some of the home improvements. If somebody comes in and, I laid that flooring myself. That doesn't make it worth more money. I know it cost you more time and you still spent some money, but there are times that can cause an issue too, because in their mind, since they did it themselves, they feel maybe more attached to that then, don't they?
The hard part for a lot of people is separating, because it's a business decision, they can't separate their emotion about a house from the business part of it. And some improvements matter a lot more than others.
And that would be a thing, again, if you're working with a real estate professional. Like I said, we love working with Brent, and I encourage you to work with Brent. But if you've got somebody else you work with that's a real estate professional, having a discussion saying, okay, would it make sense for us to do this? If we make this improvement, it's going to cost a couple $1,000s, but will that bring that return? Would that be money wisely spent, or would that just be a waste of time?
Correct. And sometimes there are certain things I will ask people to do. Maybe what's there is nice or usable yet, but it would speed up the process if people would do some of these small things.
And one of the other things is concern about ignoring feedback and market response. If you put your house on the market and all of a sudden crickets, you're just not getting any interest. It could be the market speaking to you in a certain way. But that's something that they should also take some time to talk to the real estate professional and find out, what do we need to do?
Correct. We always ask for feedback. It doesn't mean that every realtor will give it, or sometimes it's very generic. But if they're telling you that this is something that's obnoxious, and I remember one home in particular, the foyer, both floors, the living room, kitchen, dining, the ceilings, hallways were all done in Oliver Tractor green. It was pretty hard to stomach.
Yeah.
And I just gave some very blunt feedback that I said my buyer almost threw up.
Yeah.
It was so overpowering, and you have to listen.
Yeah. It makes a difference. And if I don't get beyond the foyer, then I'm probably not buying that house. So
that is, yeah, she did not get beyond the foyer. I remember it yet, and I remember the woman.
Nice.
I've sold her 5 houses.
Nice. Very, very nice. If somebody listening is going, hey, I would like you to sell me 5 houses or help me sell my one home, what is the best way for them to get in touch with you, sir?
I can be found at 605-310-0297 or Brent Baker at kw.com.
Again, Brent Baker with Keller Williams and Clients First Group. You can find him online at clientsfirstgroup.com. And if you're catching the tail end of this and you're going, hey, what were they talking about before I got here? We save this as a podcast as well at SiouxFallsPodcast.com.